Well, good morning. This is Alex Hale, the Westside Church of Christ. I'm ready to do some Bible reading this morning with you. This is day 2, and we are in Psalm 2. Psalms 1 and 2 can be read and studied together, I believe, as a paired introduction, if you will, to the entire collection of Psalms. Yesterday in the first Psalm, we read about the importance of righteousness being chosen by the individual. Well, today's Psalm is going to apply the same principle to the nation. If you go to Acts chapter 4, you'll find that this Psalm is attributed to David, and so David is the author of this text. And within the original context, as David is writing, the surrounding nations are plotting against Israel. And David finds himself amazed, maybe even disturbed would be a better word, that any nation would dare to conspire against God's anointed king. And throughout the psalm, the point is very simple. Those who go against God's chosen one are going against God himself. And David here is speaking of an earthly king, but certainly in a broader sense, this psalm would apply to Jesus as the coming Messiah. In fact, New Testament writers use Psalm 2 at least 4 times in reference not to an earthly king, but rather in reference to Jesus. You're going to find this in Acts 4. You're going to find it in Acts 13. You're going to find it in Hebrews 1. And you're also going to find it in Hebrews chapter 5. So I want to read the text and then just make 3 simple points as we think about these things. Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, "Let us burst their bonds apart and cast away their cords from us." He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying, "As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell of the decree. The Lord said to me, 'You are my son. Today I have begotten you.'" There you see that messianic language. "Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel." Jesus uses this same language when he is talking to the 7 churches in Revelation 2 and 3. "Now therefore, kings, be wise, be warned, O rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish in the way. For his wrath is quickly kindled. Blessed are all those who take refuge in him." The first point I want us to see is that those who are in power are often in opposition to God. It shouldn't be a secret to us that world leaders are, generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, they are carnally minded people. People who have chosen that path of unrighteousness we talked about yesterday. And a lot of times what they do is they seek to push that unrighteousness, that ungodly agenda onto others, choosing to trust in themselves rather than trust in God. Psalm 1 shows the godly man meditating on the law of God. Well, Psalm 2 shows ungodly leaders meditating on the defeat of God's people. Now, as we think about this, unfortunately, religious leaders, and I use that term very loosely, religious leaders often have agenda of their own as well. You know, some of Jesus' strongest opposition came from those in authority who worried that his influence would cause theirs to diminish. These religious leaders did exactly what David wrote about, plotting together against the Lord's anointed one. Paul later references this psalm, stating that even though the leaders could find no cause for death in Jesus, they sent him to Pilate anyway. And so those who are in power are often in opposition to God. But I also want you to see God holds the ultimate power. Men and women think they have control, but it is God who holds the world in his hands. In today's psalm, we read of the Lord scoffing at the futile plans of the wicked. This is the first of three pictures in the Psalms where God is laughing at the foolishness of his enemies. You're also going to see this in Psalm 37:13 and Psalm 59:8. And in each of those three contexts, God laughs, he executes judgment, and his enemies are defeated. And so we might say in the Psalms, when God laughs, it's not funny. It's a serious thing. And so today's psalm speaks of a promise made by God, likely a promise made directly to David. The wicked were seeking to circumvent or to supplant God's plan, but God makes it clear that he installed this king and he was going to keep that king in power. Zion is used several times throughout the Psalms in reference to Jerusalem. This was God's holy place, the place on which he had chosen to put his name. No one, whether it was an individual, whether it was a nation, whether it was an alliance of nations, was going to be able to disturb what God had done. And so this psalm introduces something very important to us, and that is the covenant relationship between God and the line of David, which ruled from Jerusalem. Now again, in a broader sense, the fulfillment of this promise would be found in the coming Messiah. And so the Hebrew writer uses this psalm to speak of those things in Hebrews 1 and in Hebrews 5. He's talking there about the exaltation of Jesus as the Christ above all. So God ultimately is in power. Now, point number 3. If God's in power, we need to choose to follow him. Rather than plotting against God, the leaders of the earth needed to be wise, verse 10. They needed to acknowledge the sovereignty of God and submit to his will. And that's true even today. Submission to God includes, of course, reverence and worship. Serve the Lord with fear. Rejoice with trembling. This is following the path of wisdom. The proverb writer in Proverbs 14 says that nations who choose righteousness will be exalted, but sin is a reproach to any people. And like we talked about yesterday, those who think that they can somehow thwart God's plan, whether we're talking about individuals or whether we're talking about nations, ultimately they will perish in the way. And so the question for us is, which path are we choosing? Which path are we choosing as individuals? Which path is our nation choosing? Some things to think about. Hope you have a great day.